Hello everyone and welcome back to another edition of West Ham Fan TV's Post-Match Pint, the only West Ham United post-match football show on the internet. We've just come back from London Stadium where we unceremoniously drew to Everton. Before we get into that though, I want to just thank our brand new venue. Post-Match Pint is back. It's been away for a little while, but someone has invited us in and let us use the venue. And we've got to say thank you so much to the Smoke and Bubbles Club, because that is this is a brilliant venue. I'll tell you what, go on their website, see if you can get a membership to this club, because this place is unbelievable.
There's a lovely restaurant downstairs as well.
Lord, it's unreal. I've never been into a place like this before.
Fancy, very fancy, man. Like I said, it's a stone's throw from the
I don't remember getting salmon in the bowling.
No, neither do I, mate.
Like a nice bit of salmon.
Absolutely not, no. But yeah, it's fantastic. Go onto their website and you know, join a membership. I think it's £70 a year. £70 a year? Yeah, £70 a year, and you come in here, you get a drink every week and all that stuff. It's brilliant in here. Honestly, get one now. But Scott, before we get into it, starting lineup, please.
It's been a long time since I've done this, isn't it? Yeah,
Who are you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hello, Graham.
It's great.
How you doing? Randolph and goal, making his second debut for the club.
I've missed him saying that.
Yeah. I just wanted to.
As soon as we signed Randolph, I thought, yes, Scott's going to say his name again.
I've missed Ryan saying Randolph as well.
Randolph.
Zabalek right back, Creswell left. Diop coming in for Balbuena, partnering a Bonner in defence. Noble Rice, two centres. Fornells and Snodgrass out wide. And it seemed Lanzini just playing off of Hilaire up top.
It was a very forced lineup.
I think it's the best we could get out today, if I'm honest. The bench proves it, didn't it? There was no one really on the bench to challenge the starting 11. So
three centre halves. Reed, Balbuena and Cardoso.
Yeah. Is that it?
Yeah.
What, three centre backs on the bench?
Who's the other one?
Cardoso.
Hadouken.
Yeah, you know, three centre backs. I think Masuaku, Jetty,
And Gikia and
one of the youngsters.
What did you say? Pardon me? We're getting nothing out.
Yeah, it was
Weak bench.
Weak bench.
Yeah. And that's why we had to, the starting lineup really had to put a shift in today. And I think the first half they did. They come out of the blocks, didn't they, really, West Ham?
Yeah, I think so.
Looked a bit lively.
We tried to play with the high tempo that we saw against Bournemouth. You know, we were pressing from the front, forced there, and a couple of mistakes. You know, that one of the clearances from Pickford spun off for a corner.
Yeah.
You know, and unfortunately for us, we can't keep that tempo up for 90 minutes.
No. Well, the thing is,
it'd be tough for any team.
I mean, you look, if we'd have had Anderson or Antonio on the bench today, that's someone you can bring on to inject that little bit into the team. But we didn't have that on the bench. So the starting 11 today, I'll tell you what, I'm looking at him cutting that bit of beef over. I don't think I could work, yeah.
I know we're jumping in, you say it, but surprisingly, I thought Ajeti had injected a bit of energy.
Yeah,
when
he did.
Came on, but it was
he
too
did.
Too late.
He did.
To be fair, do you know what? I thought it was a decent performance today. It wasn't vintage. It wasn't anything to pull up trees about or anything like that. But I'm going to be fair. It's a lot better than what I've seen. And to be fair, like, I know I'm going to might get slated for this because a lot of people don't agree with me. But I think this performance echoes the one from last week. I think we're defensively we're okay. I think we're looking a lot better now than we did. Under any time under Pellegrini defensively. It's just the going forward that we seem to struggle with. And when I look at today and the problems that we had today, I think one of the main problems, and I don't want to dig anyone out of here because I thought everyone sort of performed to, I won't say a high level, but a level, except Hilaire. And I've got to say that, except Hilaire, the thing that worries me about Hilaire is his body language. His body language is not that of a man that is happy. And like, I don't blame him for not being happy because, you know, there's no competition now. There's no one to play up front with apart from Ajeti. Anderson missing today and all of that sort of stuff. We've not been playing very well. The body language worries me a little bit.
Do you not think that sort of stuff can be misinterpreted?
Yeah, I think that's.
Maybe.
I think Hilaire's body language is down to he's got that arrogance about him, isn't he? And that Mark Arnautovic had the same body language at first. Hilaire's lacking confidence. I said this on my reaction to the Sheffield United video last week. He's got to start taking his chances at this level, and he had a header in the first half.
Yep.
And it's little things like that that can change his confidence because if he's scoring, he's going to be happier. but he's not. When he's getting these chances. I mean, someone said to me, "Oh, but we're not putting the chances on the plate for him." Well, we are, because he's getting the chances, so he is.
I'll be
I
honest,
think Pickford pulled off a couple of good saves, though.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
With Hilaire, I think, like I said, Sheffield United, the header that he headed down, he should have done better with, in my opinion. Today,
He should have headed it down.
yeah, no, well, yeah, but the one he put wide, I think he should have done better with, and there was another one, like you said, he should have headed it down, he headed it over.
It's all a confidence game.
I think, as you said though, he's got no competition. He knows he's going to be starting week in, week out. So if he's not scoring, he's still going to be playing. If he's got competition on the bench, he ain't scoring, he's going out of the team. And that's what we maybe need to bring in January, is another striker. So, I mean, people turn their noses up at someone like Giroud. Now, I know Giroud ain't coming to West Ham, he's going into Milan. But he's competition for Haller. And I think that's what he needs.
the thing is, though, don't that just smack of the signings we've done in the past? Big reputation, getting on in years, big wage bill.
It's what you need when you're down the bottom.
I see what you're saying. He's experienced. He knows what he's doing. But I feel like we need a pacey striker.
Yeah, we've always done it. I mean, you go back to that year we got relegated in 2003 when we brought in Les Ferdinand. You know, he was at the end of his career, but he brought in and he gave a bit of competition up front.
And that's it. And the thing is, having a professional like that who's been around the block, it gives a younger striker.
I agree with what Dan's saying, though. I do think we need someone pacey up front, like I don't even want to say it, like a Hernandez type striker. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing that still frustrates me, is that we had Hernandez and he's not here. But I mean,
I would love a Sacco.
That is what we're missing.
Well, he's out of contract, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well, you never know.
I mean, he must have gone really down to get out, then get let go from Metz.
This is the thing. The thing is like, yeah, he hasn't got no. But you've got to remember, he's in a new country, living in a new place. You know, there's all sorts of private reasons why he could.
Playing as a lone striker,
which he didn't do.
Look
no
at
competition.
Look at Haller. Look at Haller at the beginning of the season when he was playing well, scoring, and we were winning. He was a totally different body language.
But it's like, but what I'm saying is like, it looks to me like he's coming a little bit disillusioned with life, and maybe it will change and all that, because Haller and I know what you said about Arnautovic, he had that same sort of body language, but Haller and Arnautovic are two completely different players. Arnautovic is a more direct forward. He's one that's, you know, he's all power, pace.
Haller is carrying the ball. Haller can't really carry the ball.
Haller, if you look, you know, I don't watch the German league or anything like that, but if you look at the reputation he come in with, he was a player that brought others into play, and players played off of him.
Well, they had the forward three, didn't they?
Yeah.
And that's what he's used to playing with. Yeah. Here, he's up top on his own. He's being isolated like Andy Carroll was at times. The target man.
I would kill for an Arnautovic back, honestly. I know he's a bad egg and all that, but that's player,
what we're missing. That drive. Someone who you get on the ball in that attacking thing, and he'll just drive at players. And Haller's not that. Haller's not got the tricks.
But why do we sign these players, right? Knowing how they play and what their strengths are, and then just bring them over and expect them to fit to how we play, rather than try and.
Well, that was sort of Pellegrini, wasn't it? That hasn't been playing to Haller's strengths. And David Moyes at the moment, he's got his hands tied, isn't he? So, but unless he might be looking to bring someone in. He might see something in Haller and think, right, a two up top, or someone just as off him, because he tried it with Lanzini today, and Lanzini can play that role, but Lanzini's another one that's lacking confidence, and this is the problem with our team at the moment. We've got too many players that when things are going wrong and down the bottom, that they don't put in the fight, they haven't got the fight. You know what I'm trying to say?
Snodgrass today, though, showed he was that sort of.
Yeah, Snodgrass.
Brilliant today,
Snodgrass was great, but Everton worked him out in the second half, and they sort of isolated him out on the wing, because you know what he's going to do: go down and cut in.
The thing is with Snodgrass, he's a quality player. He's got no pace. He's coming to the end of his.
Well, he outpaced their right back today.
Oh yeah, but that's fuck me. But
yeah, no, I know.
But you know what I mean? He's got no pace. He's a very like easy player to work out. You know what I mean? Back in the day, 5-6 years ago, mate, he'd have been ripping that to pieces. But you know, but it's them sort of players that have the drive, that have the determination, when the chips are against you, they're the sort of players you want in your side. You know what I mean? But we've got too many people like. Who, and I don't think it's so much today, but Haller is a fun player. We've got too many people who Yeah, they haven't got the character for it. You know what I mean? Like when you're down the bottom, life becomes very, very, very tough. You know what I mean? And like, yeah,
when you're fighting relegation, you need players with a grit and determination.
Yeah, and a grit and determination.
Yeah.
And like Arnautovic, he's one of them players.
Yeah, Arnautovic will was a cycle player. You want players that drag you through games, like Scott Parker did for us. That's what we're lacking, and I'm hoping that we can get in a couple of players in this transfer window that will give us that bit of fight, because Zabaleta's won, but he just hasn't got the legs, and that's what you're constantly saying. Noble's won, but his legs are going. And this is what I was saying to someone just off camera, is that I'd like to see us bring in someone, another. We need an attacking midfielder, but I'd like another defensive midfielder to come in, just to release Rice a bit, because you see it today. Rice wants to go forward, but when he checks back, he looks around and he knows that he has to drop back in.
So do you think Rice then could become that box-to-box midfielder?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
I really do, because you see it against Sheffield United when he drove at that. All right, the handball was whatever, but the way he drove at that Sheffield United defence.
Sure there was a game previous to that where he done it and created a goal.
I think if you bring someone in just to release Rice and give him that freedom.
The thing is, it's just when you look at that, like I said, when you look at Zabaleta and you look at Snodgrass, that was our right side today. You know, after 70 minutes, them two are blowing.
Yeah.
You know, them two are struggling, and there's nothing there.
There's nothing on the bench to bring on, is there? And that's the problem.
And you've got the likes. I know he's injured now, but you've got Fredericks. If Fredericks had the desire and the intelligence of Zabaleta had, that's the perfect right back.
I thought Zabaleta was one of our best players.
Yeah, he was.
No, he was. He had a great game today.
That's what I'm saying. It's just the fact you get to 70 minutes and then you're worrying because that side of the pitch, they're tired. There's no.
I mean, we all probably thought the same, but you get to that point where you think Everton are going to nick this.
Yeah.
Everton are going to nick this. I mean, we went 1-0 up. Diop, you know.
Deserved as well.
Yeah, definitely. But do you know what? If they don't equalise just for half time, I think we win that game.
Yeah,
today.
I agree.
I think we win that game. We either go and get the second, or we see out the 1-0.
The chance that they had would have gone now, but they scored. They had nothing.
No.
They didn't win.
I mean, I was worried because Calvert-Lewin, you know, he's a good player, and you've got that other player up front from that Keane who hasn't really had a great season. But when they play teams like West Ham, I'm surprised he ain't walking out of it in a match ball. You know, that's the sort of thing that happens to West Ham.
When I look at the two teams, there's been a lot of comparisons between the two teams of late as well, because you know we've both sort of like invested, or they say invested heavily into the team, but they've both spent quite a bit of money.
And they've probably spent 3 times what we have.
Yeah, but you know, when I look at the Everton and when I look at West Ham, I'd rather be in Everton's position. You know, they've got young, hungry players. You know, like Moise Keane. They're buying, for the future. Yeah. That Moise Keane was so to one. There's a player there.
Yeah. It's
just getting him confident and all of that.
And you look around their squad as well. You got like today. You got players like Theo Walcott. I know he gets a lot of criticism, but he is still a good player who can win a game for him. I mean, when we played them at Goodison Park early in the season, we made him look like fucking Messi on that day. Remember, he was unbelievable. Theo Walcott. We was lucky today that
listen to them though. The players they criticise the most: Walcott, Schneiderlin, Sigurdsson. So all the players that they bought off a big reputation with loads of money are they most like the players that Everton.
Yeah, I think we're quite lucky.
They play well against us.
But they
did it good,
that can be a bit of a false dawn because they're the players that they expect to do well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like when you're buying players off Man United and fucking Tottenham and all that, we expect them to do well.
Big money. It's the spending. It's like with Anderson. You expect.
You expect more from them
because you're paying that big money. If you're paying $5 million for a player and it doesn't work out, you're not so critical of him. But when you're paying 40 millions, 50 millions for a player, for a club like ours and a club like Everton, you expect.
It's hard though because like Ali didn't ask to be transferred 45 million.
No, but this is what I'm saying. It's like when we signed Anderson for whatever it was, 40 million, Haller 45. Thing is, with a Man City, a United, or something like that, their 45 million player ain't playing well. They can go out and buy another player. We can't. So we expect our 45, but as you said, we don't. It's not their fault that we're paying that money for them. So
the thing is, it's tough from here, and we need to find people that's going to roll up their sleeves because we are still languishing at the bottom. We've got 11 tough games, and that takes us to 33
you go back to that season we was relegated under Avram Grant. We were shit that year.
Yeah.
But you always turn up knowing you've got a Scott Parker in your team, someone that's going to roll up their sleeves, get stuck in. You've got a Colton Cole in the team who cares, you know? And I think that's what we are lacking a little bit over there, just a little bit of that grit.
They're hard to find.
They are hard to find.
We have a few in the side.
There's
but probably
players there
not
that
enough.
care, you know.
No, I'm not saying I don't care, but someone, when you're down the bottom, that's when you find out.
You need leaders.
Yeah, you need leaders.
You
I
need
don't
a lot.
see.
You look at players that are trying to raise the game. I think Bonner. I think he's been fantastic.
Bonner's hammer of the year for me.
The thing is,
He's
I
trying
think
to raise
people
his
were
game.
harsh
He's
on
trying
him
to get
last season.
He takes a lot of criticism, but he doesn't.
So
deserve
people forget
Bonner,
he was
yeah.
playing with an injury and had to go and have surgery. Then he came back and he wasn't that great after the surgery because he just had surgery. But
When you look at the players that sort of do care, they're aging now. Bonner's aging. Noble's aging. And it worries me about what's beyond that. And then that brings me on
if we
nicely.
can keep Rice,
We're not going to keep Rice. We're not going to keep Rice. As simple as that. We're not going to keep him. He's too good to be playing at the bottom of the Premier League.
Yeah, but-
And I know what you're going to bring up that TalkSport thing.
No, I ain't going to bring up TalkSport for that. I'm just going to say that but you're
I think
only
you've got
4 or 5 wins away from being in the top half.
But I think he's got a couple more years with us.
I think it'd be ridiculous for Declan Rice to leave next summer unless we get relegated.
he's still
But
really young. He's got his old.
He's
career.
he's just turned 21.
Yeah.
He can stay here another 2 or 3 years and it'll be only 23, 24.
Listen, he's playing football. We've seen it before with young players when they leave to go to bigger clubs.
How many 21-year-olds in the Premier League have made nearly over 70 appearances? He's an England international.
It benefits us, him being here. It benefits
Him going to a Man City, he ain't going to play regular football. He'll play the first 3 or 4 games and then they bench him like they do when they buy all them sort of players. But that's
He'll end up like another Scott.
But I'll be honest with you, mate. Right, when I'm looking at it today, and there's been a lot gone on over the last week. We've seen fucking interviews galore and press, things from the board and all that. And you know what? Today was there was a protest today, which went down very well, which they got good numbers for. It's a start. But when you look back at their 10 years, I've been doing a research for a video that I was going to do 10 years of Golden Zully. And I'll be honest with you, there was so much content to go through and so much gone on in them 10 years that it was so difficult. It was so difficult to put it together. I might be able to get it out later on in the month, but to put that video together is so difficult because there are so many things that they've said, then retracted, then brought back again, then retracted. And when you look at it all as a whole, 10 years ago they did save us and all that sort of thing. But when you get to today, and when you look at them interviews that they've just done in the last week, they know there's a protest coming up. They know this, they know that. And you look at the way they've handled that, which I think they've flung flames on the fire, if I'm honest with you. Especially David Gold. I thought David Gold one was atrocious. Like things like, we didn't really, our promises, they weren't really set in stone. As if to say, well, we didn't mean it. We hoped it would happen, but we didn't mean it. When that is not the message that you got, there's so much shit coming out this week and all of that. They're not the people to take us to the next. I want him to say next level. I don't trust the people to be able to maintain us in the Premier League at the minute, to be honest.
I don't think with them going down, they will not want us to go down. It doesn't benefit them business-wise.
I know it doesn't.
I'm not saying that they want, but I think they're not. It's not that they're trying to get us down. They're incompetent. They don't know what they're doing.
I can't say they don't know what they're doing because they run football clubs.
It don't matter, yeah, but mate,
they don't want to invest too much money.
But it's
So
not just
that's
about
where
the-
they're holding
it's
it
not
back.
just about the
That's
money.
where they're holding us
It's
back.
it's about setting up the infrastructure of the football club and all
But they
the
don't
behind
care.
the scenes shit.
But you're saying they care about the infrastructure. They don't give a shit because this is a cash cow. That's all it's ever been.
When you look at it, right, if you say like when the day they took over 10 years ago tomorrow to now, are we a better football like financially better? Yes, we are.
As a business.
Yeah, as a business.
Exactly.
As a football team, no.
We're exactly the same where we were.
So
I don't think it's just a cash cow to them.
People-
This is why I think it's a vanity project as well. Because I'll tell you why. Like the difference between them, you've got like Stan Kroenke, right? Now him, you can I'd say flat out don't care. He just sits there in America. collects his money, funds his other teams.
But they attend every week.
Yeah, they attend, but not just that. They come out and do these interviews because they care about how they're perceived by the public, by the fans. Not necessarily that they care about what the fans in general, but they care about what people think about them. They're egotists. So it's not. I don't think it's just solely about money. It's about their egos as well, and that's why I think protests like that help. Because people think, what's the point of doing a protest? Because it hurts them. That Burnley thing hurt them.
You can tell it has rattled them a little bit today. It's a static protest. A lot of people have turned up to that. More than a lot of people give them credit.
Well, the Moose said there'd be about 200 people there, and there was all going to be 16-year-olds or whatever he said. I mean, the Moose is an absolute
fucking disgrace.
I mean, he gave it all the mouth yesterday morning. I was listening to it, and he was like, "Oh well, if any West Ham fans got problems with me, they can come and see me." Yeah, when you're hiding up in your media department.
And then he runs away when you approach him.
Like people like the Moose, I ain't got time for people like
him. The thing with him is, he lost all respect that he had when he turned around and said he wanted Tottenham to win the Champions League.
Yeah, I don't think he's very much like. The thing is with people like that, I think they're out of touch. He's a journalist. You know what I think about journalists. We all know what we think about journalists and all that sort of stuff.
They're not all bad.
No, they're not all bad. No,
not all journalists are bad. Not all journalists are bad. And at the end of the day, it is their job. Yeah. Especially when he's sitting on TalkSport saying things like that. It's just...
Mate, he turns up to these things, he gets his free food, drinks his friends.
That's all he's worried about, his food.
But what is the... let me bring it back, right? What is the common theme here, right? I've heard two people trying to sort of dismiss this protest this week, right? That is the Moose, who you can see by the interview, he's so far up that ball's arse, he probably fucking lick his toothpaste off the back of his teeth.
Well, that's the thing. He ain't going to sit there and ask the questions we all want to ask because he won't get his corporate hospitality and his free sandwiches. They
know him personally and all that. And the other person I've heard trying to discredit it is Sean Whetstone. And we all know what Sean Whetstone is. And as I said, we had Sean Whetstone on our podcast.
Well, he said that. I heard someone sent me a clip of his podcast yesterday, and he was saying that protester was going to be like musical statues and laughing at it,
just dismissing it.
Yeah, dismissing it. And
do you know the thing I'll tell you
something about him though, Dan. He's not a stupid man. He's a very liberalist as well. He believes in change, and he believes in the right to demonstrate, and he believes in the right to protest and all that. He's like a liberal man. So dismissing it, when you look at the pattern of the Moose, and then they both pretty much said the same thing. There's only a couple of hundred people there, and what they're going to do is stand around doing nothing. But that's not the case. There was a couple of thousand people there.
Yeah, this is just the start. This is just the start of something.
I think they've done well. And I said that to a couple of weeks ago that I didn't want anything to do with it, and I wouldn't drag West Ham Fan TV through it and all that thing. What I would do is talk about it. I went there personally today, myself, Nicky Hawkins, not West Ham Fan TV. Ryan Archer was there. I did see you two.
Do you know what?
I went as a fan. I went as as you said, Ryan Archer has supported West Ham all his life. I'm not there for the channel because I know you all agree, but you might not agree. So I'm not going to represent our channel and say this is that when you might not agree.
I
know you do agree.
Mistakes before,
but
to be honest.
Look,
we all agree with what.
In principle.
Yeah. You know what I mean? It's there's ways of doing it, and the unfortunate thing is for them to listen to what the fans want. You need at least half that stadium to be doing it, and that's the unfortunate thing. That's why it's a good start.
I think they'll get there.
But yeah, to progress, you know, if you're looking at it from their vantage point, we get 60,000 people through the door, 2,000 protesting. We ain't got to listen.
Yeah, I understand that.
You can tell it hurts them by the way they've been in PR overload.
Publicity. There was journalists. There was all sorts of people around there.
The way to do it is to protest in there, to walk out of there.
It's that double-edged sword,
live on Sky, millions of people watching. Walk out.
Do you know what I would do? If I was them, I would try and do it at the end of the season, when we know where we are, where we know what, if it's secure, the place and all of that. That's when I would seriously think about you know, maybe staging a sit-in or a walk out or whatever.
You've got to embarrass them. That's the only way through to them is embarrass them. Like you said, you know, you've got to catch them where they're going to look.
Or do it at the start of next season when there ain't so much.
Because you look at them, they want to present, like, you know, Brady done that thing of celebrating 10 years of trying to achieve success. She's done the Sky thing about the stadium.
How can you celebrate? How can you celebrate 10 years of trying?
Yeah.
The thing is, their mistake,
Sorry, but
their mistake, I think they might have got a little bit of respect with the fans if they would have come out a few years ago and said, look, we ain't done what we said we was going to do. We ain't. We know we're fucked up. But now, forget the first 10-point plan. Now we're going to work from here and we're going to try to improve. But they ain't. They're still going on about this 10-point plan. Things like, he was going on about we're going to get Champions League football and shit like that.
They're not
No chance.
people.
You look at that. You look. We're 13th British club in the world. You look at that top 20. We're the only ones that ain't been in the Premier League, in Europe, or we're in Europe, or
But
whatever.
you know, when you look through the table, we're the only people that don't invest the money. They are trying. Look,
Well, Newcastle.
I've got
That's what I'm saying.
well, Newcastle. Yeah, you can put Newcastle in that, but we are the. So when you look at where they've took the club, well, in a business sense, you can't complain. But I'm not a businessman. I'm a football fan.
Yeah, and this is the problem that you got. They are business people.
Yeah, but
That's the problem.
the business side of it's fantastic. But you know, when your product is football, then you've got to look after the
I
football
saw
side
a
of it.
video though with Sullivan recently the other day where he came out and said, we're not looking at this as a business. He said, I'll be happy if we can break even and the club will be self-sufficient. I'm not looking at it as a business. So everyone says they look at it as a business. That's his own
I can
words.
tell you now, when the end of fucking things come along and it gets ready to sell, having £100 million profit a year and investing very little looks good on the balance sheet, and it rises the value of the club.
Even breaking even for the club, for him, the club breaking even, more money in his pocket when he sells it. That is the thing. That is what their end game is. I don't care that they come out and I'm going to give it to our kids and all this crap.
Have we got in 2 years?
But
3 years?
people use it's a business as a defence for the board and their actions, right? Oh, it's a business.
No,
But they've said,
defending
no, I'm not
the
saying you
board
are.
and
I'm
direction.
saying that argument that it's a business. You've got to look at it as a business. It's like, but their own words have said we don't look at it as a
It
business.
really upsets me.
Yeah, well, we know they do.
It really upsets
You
me.
wouldn't have
can't
Cameron
be
Brady involved in your football club if you didn't see it as business.
Every owner of a football club is there to make money. That's.
But I think a lot of owners of football club understand the club isn't a money earner.
You've got to speculate to accumulate.
Yeah.
That's, the big money is the Champions League, but I don't think they're in that long term, and they know what sort of investment it takes. And I don't think they're willing to risk that investment.
I mean, could you imagine back at the bowling that last season if
Would have got Champions League.
if we'd have got into the Champions League? Imagine.
Imagine in that January, they went, we're this close. Let's go out and splash some money in January, get this key position.
We've done the
this
same
key
thing the year
position.
before, though.
Get
To
a
be fair,
solid
when you
run.
look at where we was at Christmas before, we was second in the table at Christmas.
And then they
And then they told Allardyce he was leaving.
Yeah. So then
Allardyce
stop
thought,
playing
fuck
for it.
this.
That's it.
That's the thing that
But
it's not only that thing, but when you look at the club as a whole, right? Right, they're 20th on the rich list, yeah. Up there, you've got the likes of Tottenham, like the Man United, and all that. What you'd expect, Liverpool, etc. Right? They're not investing it in players. Not overly, anyway. Right?
Not investing it in the ground.
They're not investing it in the ground. They're not paying anything for the ground. They're not investing it into training facilities. They're not investing it into the academy. So where are they investing it? Where is that money going?
Their own pockets.
Well, they would tell you that they ain't getting any
They ain't
dividends.
taking away.
Yeah. So where is that money going? It's not just disappearing off the face of the earth. It's
Well, I
not.
tell you, speaking of Sean Webster,
Or is it?
He said on Twitter, right, that our overall wages are higher.
That is the craziest thing
Now,
I've ever heard in my life.
than they were before.
That is the biggest piece of spin I've ever heard in my life.
Our wages have
He's-
gone up
he's
since the
trying-
transfer
and this
window.
is what, I know Sean will probably watch this and all that, and I apologise to you, Sean, because I thought you come on our podcast, I thought you spoke well. But this is where the board, when they're going to PR overdrive, this is what they force in people, that they tell these pieces of information to, this is what they force them to do. They force them to fucking embarrass themselves.
How can you say the wage bill's gone up?
Because it doesn't take a fucking genius to work out. We sold about 8 or 9 players in the summer and we signed 3. And a lot of them players were earning 80, 90.
Perez, Carroll, Hernandez. They're all like nearly about 300 grand between them.
Yeah, Nasri, who was on 80 grand. Obiang, that was on about 50 grand. You know what I mean? Like, these are just sort of like...
It's amazing how many of those players we could do here right now.
Exactly, but when you think about it like that, Hernandez, we sold him at a time when we couldn't fucking replace him.
He was on 150 grand as well.
Yeah,
but that was it.
But this is the thing, right? So he's telling them, we're paying higher for wages, and he's got to sit there with a straight face and turn around and go, yeah, we're paying more for wages. And Gio from Amber's Chat pulled up an article that he'd written in the summer saying how much we'd saved, £15.8 million per year in article, and he went, oh, the figures were wrong. Well, they must have been fucking wrong then. You know what I mean? And then when you've got to be fucking like, you know, that's got to be, you say the figures are wrong, they've got to be fucking astronomically wrong. But it doesn't take the we can all see it. Right?
This is the thing, you say he spoke well on the podcast. This is what I wanted to say earlier, right?
And he laughs in your face, didn't he, to be honest?
No, but this is what I'm saying. I felt like a lot of the time, he sort of said some of the things that he thought we wanted to hear, and he was a bit more critical of the board, and he was a bit less of the opinions that you see him on Twitter. Because since then, I'm like, wow, like he's going into pro board overdrive.
Yeah, but I think you find that there's a lot of people on Twitter lately that were very pro board, that have thought that it's sort of the in thing to be anti-bald, and there's a lot of people that are jumping on it. Yeah. I'm not going to name names. We all know there's people out there, and I don't get it, because if you like the bald, then stick with it. Don't think because you're going to get criticism, because if you agree with something and that's your opinion, then you're entitled to your opinion. Don't change your mind because you think it's the in thing to suit, oh, we can do this, and we'll say this on a video and say that just to please people, to get likes and thumbs up and retweets and everyone putting their arm around your shoulder. You know, there's people that have got things off of the board before. Maybe they're not getting the little freebies anymore that they used to. Maybe they're not getting the invites and that to end the season things, and you know, it's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I want to know from each and every one of you, right? When did you turn on the ball? When did you just come to the conclusion that?
Do you know what? I'm gonna go probably 2014.
Wow.
No, do you know when I started turning on the ball? Probably towards the end of the first season here.
Same.
Towards the end of the first season here, because I thought at the bowling, and this is what we've said this before, that at the bowling they used to pull into the car park and you could talk to them. They'd walk through you, they'd talk to them. You know, we've stood there and chatted to them, Gold and Sullivan, before. And I think that's where they lost a lot of respect over it. And I think it started turning towards the end of the first season here. That's when I started to sort of change my mind. I've always been sort of, not more pro bald, but I've always sat on the sort of fence. I've always thought, all right, I've always been in that, that when they come in, without them, there wouldn't be a West Ham. Let's put it that way. They come in, they took on.
There would be. When looking in hindsight,
there would have been a West Ham. But what I'm saying is,
they
come in. I remember the day they come in, and you know, we got relegated, which was probably the best thing for West Ham at the time, wasn't it? We cleared out all the shit.
If you look back at old post-match pints, if you go back to our very first post-match pints, when that stuff happened with Allardyce, with the got to Christmas doing brilliantly, then ironically I think that's when we started. When we started doing shit. You'll see me in videos.
But we did have a good first season at the bowling.
Yeah, we did. No, but that's the thing. You'll see me at points there where you will see me like when my disdain started to start. You'll see me saying, I can see what they're doing. I can see what they're doing. Yeah. You look back. I swear on my life, if you've got the time, if anyone's got the time, look back to them times in 2014, 2015, and all that, and you'll see me start saying, yeah, I can see what's going to happen now.
The thing is
you haven't said when you turned, by the way, Scott.
When we walked in here.
Yeah.
When you walked in here.
I think it was
because you saw. Look, when we left the bowling, what they were saying, I understood. From a point of view of a football club, for us to grow, with the restrictions that were meant to be in place at Upton Park, where we couldn't extend it,
Yeah,
and all that,
yeah,
which has
it
now
was-
turned out to be a load of crap. But what we were coming here for was the right move. What we originally were told and what we were coming.
Yeah,
They
if the
walked in
promises
here-
if the promises would have been there,
Yeah.
if the promises would have been there, thank you very much.
Oh wow, bloody hell.
Thank you.
Cheers, mate, thank you.
What else?
crazy.
What else do you need? That's all I'm saying.
This is what happens when
What
Ryan
else?
organises things.
Yeah.
Ryan gets involved.
Never
Ryan
got
in.
this in the clubhouse.
Thank you very
Oh,
much.
thank you.
No, you used to have Graham with a tin under the table, topping you
And
up.
all the people that used to comment in about, oh, it pisses me off seeing you with empty Pint and all that. No, but yeah, it's back to the board thing. It's you know, it's what's the word? We all wanted to believe.
Dan, you know this is all going on your bill, didn't you? And the salmon.
no, but like we all wanted to believe, and we all got sold. And
We all got
it's,
Yes.
it shames me now
It
when
was
I
a
think
dream
about
come
it.
true having
No,
West Ham owners and all of that. It was very
it upsets me. It upsets me now when I think to myself, "Fuck me, man! I wish we'd have."
Yeah, but
we'd
let's
have
be
stuck up
honest.
for
Let's be
ourselves.
honest. No, let's be honest. When you went into that centre to get your season ticket, and they showed you on the screen, it's nothing like what we went in that first day.
You were sold a dream.
It
Mate,
looked.
I
You
was
look at it, and
buzzing.
do you know what? I'm not even going to lie. I remember that game against Domzali, the first game here. I remember walking into that stadium because I'd never been here for the Olympics or the rugby or anything. First time I'd ever stepped foot in that stadium was that game. And I remember
Wow.
walking up that stairs, and it took me back. I thought this little club from East London,
There's a video on this
60,000.
channel. Me and Jace were walking in. You said we're like, wow. We're
50,
walking, we're
yeah, you was
amazed.
both drunk.
Yeah, we was.
I remember that video.
Maybe that's why we thought it was so great.
54,000 fans, you know, and I thought, wow, you know, and then it weren't until 2 or 3 games later you start noticing
this can actually be something.
Yeah.
This can actually
and
be
then, and
something.
then you realise that this ain't a football stadium.
the only thing.
Then all the things start.
Yeah, because
this
yeah,
lie was told.
the
This
sort
lie
of
was told.
the
this lie
stickers
was
start to come off, if you know
Yeah.
what I mean. Like you're
Yeah,
looking
yeah.
at it, you think, fucking hell, that's a big gap.
Yeah.
I didn't see that on the screen.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
you
Like,
take.
where's all the fucking posters?
The only
and shit?
thing
Where's
that
the wrap around?
The only thing is
Yeah,
that,
where's
that
that
sort of worries me. I know we want change, and I agree, but I hope that the new owners that do eventually take over, because it will happen, that you know they can change a lot of things. I mean, they can put the ticket prices right up. You know, they can change things like
But
that.
these will do that eventually, right?
Yeah, but the
These will
thing
do
is,
that
this
eventually.
is the worry, right, for me, is that with this board, right, and I'm still thinking with David Gold. Right, David Gold comes across to me personally as a fan. I think he does.
I
care.
agree. I do agree.
think he does care. Sullivan don't care. Sullivan's in it for that. David Gold.
The
David
stuff
Gold
he
is a West
came out
Ham
with,
fan.
though.
Yeah, but he has to back Sullivan. This is the thing. Like Nicky said before, he should have stood in the way of Sullivan doing what he wanted. He
Who?
didn't. Gold.
But the thing is,
But
yeah, but
he
don't
has
you
to
find
stick-
because Sullivan is a more of a
That's it. He has to
majority
stick by it.
shareholder, isn't
He
he?
can't. He can't.
Not challenging at least.
The thing is,
But he's not. He's an old man. He's
But if
not
you
gonna-
fall out with him, Scott, as you said, he's an old man. What can he do? Sell his shares
Yeah,
to
but that's
him.
it. But that's what I'm saying. It's look, that's my opinion. You know, I still think Gold cares. Sullivan don't give a fuck.
but Gold
Sullivan
went,
is
but
this is a cash grab.
David Gold went from, and he was the one who said 5 years' time we'll be in the Champions League, but which was this time is 5 years' time. He went from that to now he's saying the achievement is getting this stadium. That's the achievement,
But that's what
right?
he's got to say.
But look at that. But you say
He
that's
can't.
the
He can't come
achievement.
out. He can't come out and go. Oh, do you know what? You know what? I was sold the same dream as you.
No, but
It's
just be
crap.
honest and say it's.
Do you know what I mean?
But to say
But
that
he's not
no,
gonna-
but-
they're
but-
not
but-
gonna be
no,
honest.
no, but he is the one.
And
who
that's their
said,
problem. If
"This
they
is
was
our
more
aim."
honest,
Exactly.
they might have a little bit,
Then you
more
No, but I'm saying,
respect.
if that's
If they was
the-
more
if-
honest,
if-
they wouldn't have got you.
No, exactly.
If that's such a great achievement, right,
But it's-
as we just said earlier,
It's not a great
before
achievement.
we-
The only thing it achieves, it's not a great achievement for anything football-wise. It's a great achievement for what it puts into their pocket.
and the vanity
But-
situation. But what
Well-
I just want to say is, before we moved in, before we got this achievement, as we said earlier, we was flirting with top 4 2 seasons in a row, right? We moved to this. Since we moved here, we flirted with relegation for 3 out of 4 seasons.
We've gone
Like
back.
exactly, we've gone backwards.
Yeah, but
So
them
how
2
can
seasons you
we-
said we flirted with Champions League at the Bowling Ground. The other 30 odd season we flirted with
No, but-
relegation.
But what I'm saying is, since they took over, like we
No, I know.
back to back. So
We-
we was
we-
go- if-
Look,
Do you know the
we
thing
could
is-
have progressed so much from.
I've always said it.
Season-
This first
even
season
better,
here,
good
this
progress.
first season here was the season for us to progress when we had Payet. They're coming off the back of that season at the Bowling. We had Dimitri Payet. You know, everyone was buzzing. Everyone couldn't wait to get over here.
I totally
Let's
agree,
be honest.
Totally agree.
You know, and that's when we should have built. But as I said, Payet come back from that Euros. Whatever happened behind the
thing is,
scenes,
mate-
no, but he come back from them Euros,
Yeah,
and as I said, he looked in that change room, and no disrespect to your mate, but Nordvite, no disrespect to my mate Gokantor. He looked around and he must have thought, well, where's this? Where's the ambition? Where's the players that I was promised? He's got Zaza walking around like, what's going on here? You know what I mean?
At that point in time, he was one of the best players.
He was the best player in Europe at the time,
Yeah,
without a
and
doubt.
like you said,
He-
I don't know. You've got Messi and Ronaldo.
Mate, at that time,
One of
Payet,
them,
his stats, Payet, look at his stats. You look at the stats, maybe not goal-wise,
In
but
his
stats.
position. In his position. Yeah.
created
He was one that,
chances
all right,
anywhere else
I'll
in
just
Europe.
say one of the best in the world at the time. He was easily worth over £100 million at that time.
Yeah.
At that time, we sold him for 25.
But do you know what the problem was, right? And I tell you what the problem was, is that season we got Payet for what was it, 12 million? 12 million?
10.
Yeah, around,
we
yeah,
got
10 million.
Lanzini for next to nothing. You know, so we signed these good players on the cheap. So someone's thinking,
This
you
is
know,
what we
look
do
at
every.
it.
Yeah, this is easy.
This
So,
is easy.
you know
Let's
what,
just go
right?
and fucking.
Who actually went out there and spotted Lanzini and Payet?
Me.
Talents.
No,
Do you know what I mean?
Slaven
Mate, I was out, I
has
see it.
come out and said that Lanzini was his fine. He asked the board, "Can we do this?" And they said yes. So he's
How cheap it was.
I still think that they should have backed Bilic.
Bilic was so hard done by. You look at Bilic; he had a good season. He had to deal with a stadium move. He had to deal with the Payet situation.
Exactly.
He had to deal with the board undermining
Exactly.
the lack of investment. He's a good manager.
I'm going to tell you
He's
now.
showing it at West
I'm going
Brom.
to tell you now what the problem is, right? This. Forget all your opinions. This is my opinion.
Okay.
No, but I'll tell you what the problem is, right? And I'll tell you why we can't succeed even under someone like Pellegrini. Yeah? Because Pellegrini looks at this club from the outside, like we all do, like all the press do and the other clubs do. Because the other clubs, they can't understand why we're upset, right? But they look at it and go, look, they've got a stadium. But when you delve deep within that club, yeah, once you get here and you see what we all see, yeah, and you look at a club that's got no absolute it's got absolutely no infrastructure. Yeah. It's got no vision, it's got no plan, it's got no like signings. We've got one scout to Southampton's 50.
Did you see that scout? Hold on. Let me just-
Did
Sorry,
you
sorry.
see? Get in there, Dan.
Well,
Fucking
he's
push
on
in
the
there,
right.
mate. I'm going to paint up.
One scout, and then you look at the training facilities, right? And then you look at the likes of
Fucking hell,
Leicester
they're right,
City.
aren't they?
Leicester City was out of the Premier League for 12 years, something like that. 11 years before they got back up in 2014. Since then, now this is a complete fluke. Don't get me wrong, they never planned to win that league, but they won the league, yeah. But since then, they've invested over £100 million into training facilities alone, right? Tottenham, the same. Infrastructure, training facilities. Right? People say to me the other day, they were saying to me the other day, oh, what difference does it make? Grass is grass. No.
Can I be honest, bro? I'm one of them people. I'm thinking to myself, like, people bang on about the training facilities and investing in the training facilities. Why would you invest 100 million in training facilities? Surely you want to invest it in the squad. Now, all right, I understand, but you go back to the greats of this club, trained on Chad Reef, still had success.
Well, I think they're different times. mate.
Yeah, but no, it's different times. But I'd rather invest 100 million into the team than 100 million into a training
Can I
ground.
say one thing? And I think I might have said this on the podcast, right? Is
I haven't finished my point.
Oh, sorry, mate.
That's all right. Go on, no, go on.
I'll just say one. I'll just say it quickly. But obviously, they said about the stadium is that they can show players, top players. Look at the stadium we've got. Look at the stadium.
They didn't
But
take
when
us
they-
Chad Relief and we got a fucking Tesco's warehouse.
Exactly. Take them to our training facilities that look tin pot, and then they're like, "Oh, what the fuck's this?" So it's like if you want to have these big shows, you've got to have the fucking training facilities. Because Gedson Fernandes, you look at that, someone posted like Tottenham's training facilities next to ours. It's fucking night and day.
The thing for me is investing in training facilities, things like that.
That's where they work
You're working
every
at
day
the
of the
club, bottom upwards. You know, this is the final product. So you've got to, if you invest at the bottom and improve the bottom, it then improves.
That's where the players spend most of their time.
So, right? So, You get this big main manager in, yeah, he's used to success, he's used to top facilities, he's used to a chairman that you walk into and you go, this is what we need to do, and they go, right, wait, if that's what we need to do to succeed, we need to succeed, yeah? So he walks into someone like this, and you know, you give him a transition season from, you know, Moyes to where he was this season, and he says, right, listen, we've got no structure in the scouting system. You know, I've got a director of football. Maybe he'll tell you how to sort of set up a scouting network and all that sort of stuff. Training facilities. We need to invest a little bit into training facilities because these are substandard. They're causing injuries. You know, we haven't got the right recovery facilities. You know, when you look at the likes of Leicester and Tottenham, and even Brighton, you know, they've got all these sort of special recovery things and all that. And we haven't got that. We haven't got that here. This is just a substandard training. We need to probably invest in that. And David Tony goes, well, we've never had a problem with it before. And he goes, well, I'm telling you what we need to do to progress. He goes, well, you know, Slaven Bilic put up with it. And then you go to him, right, okay, well, so Marcus Silius will tell you about the scouts. Well, Marcus Silius, ain't he going to find the players? Well, no, he's got to have a scouting system. Well, we never invested in that before. And then you're sort of banging your head against the wall, right? And the geezer's a sociopath. No fucking doubt about it. He's a sociopath.
100%.
You know what I mean? Like, you know, he makes no regret. So he goes, and then when you get to that point and you've got this man, he's like, well, he's paying me £8 million a year. We're in this brilliant stadium, in his opinion. But he won't invest in the squad, he won't invest in the training facilities. I'm telling him what they need to do to make it better.
Well, to be fair, they have invested in the squad. They have invested in the squad. For a club like West Ham, 200 million over the last 2 years is a lot of money.
But I don't think it's 200 million, though, right? To be honest with you, I was working it out last night. I think it ends up being about 130 million.
Oh, even 130 million, mate, that's still a lot of money.
What's the point in investing in the squad if you ain't got the right scouts and the right...
Let's make sure that infrastructure. That's, you know, because...
All right, would you... let's put it this way then. All right, would you... If the board turned around and said, all right, we're going to invest 200 million in the training ground and scouts, but we're going to get relegated, would you take that? Or would you rather them... What I'm just saying is, or would you rather them invest it in the team now? Give it to David Moyes and say...
It goes hand in hand because you can't have a team like Leicester who haven't got the facilities that we've got, who haven't got the money that we've got and all of that sort of stuff, doing both, and then come up with an excuse saying we can't do it because it can be done.
The thing is, you've got to look at like, you know, I remember a few years ago them saying we want to be like we want to follow the Tottenham model, right? The model that Tottenham is set up. Look at how Tottenham is set up now compared to us. Right? We were saying,
but I still see people wanting Daniel Levy out.
That's mental.
Yeah, but because their expectations now are a step above ours. They want to be challenging for the league. We just want to be challenging for the Europe.
It's when you look.
We are a fickle.
All football fans are fickle. All football fans are fickle. We could win our next 5 games in a row and we'll all be doing the conga around the fucking London Stadium with David, you know.
But listen, some people, when we won our first game against Bournemouth 4-0, people were saying, hey, look, Moyes is in the
listen, I'm gonna stick up for David Moyes here because
I'm not having a pop it.
But he's coming once again. He's coming to a difficult situation at West Ham. It feels like every time he's here, we protest. But but I do feel sorry for him, and I feel like since he's come in, I mean we didn't even finish talking about the game, but since he's come in, defensively we look solid.
Yep.
He gets the players working harder. They look a lot fitter. They look fitter, and that's one thing he done last time. Do you remember last time he came in? And he got stick for taking the players to Miami, but they come back.
That was one of Slav's downfalls, was the fact he didn't train them.
Imagine if they go to Miami.
This is the thing.
On your run, FA Cup though,
One
aren't
of Slav's...
I was going to say, imagine if they go to Miami and Randolph just got it. I bet you think,
one of his people was an ice skating coach. He was too loyal to his coaching staff.
Bilic,
The thing is with Bilic, we heard a lot of stories about Bilic that the players were taking the piss out of him basically. Too friendly, he was like your mate, and that's what you don't need. And I don't get that from David Moyes. No. I think what proved that with me with David Moyes was Gillingham them in the cup.
Yeah.
Because the first half was shit, and you can tell they got bollocked in that half time because they come out a totally different team.
But you say that, how many times in that last season at the Boleyn was we behind in the first half and we came out?
I just think that was his ability to players.
I just think that was down to Pint.
Yeah, but then how can you say because then why didn't Pint do it?
No, I'm not. Listen, I'm not dismissing Bilic as a coach. But I just think around the training ground he was too friendly, and a lot of players, especially Creswell. I've heard a lot of stories about Creswell. He used to turn up and sit on the bike. Didn't want to train.
You say that though, but remember the stories about Amafutano coming in late. And Zarate, but him just going that flat.
Amafutano could do what he wants at West Ham. He's a legend.
But the thing is, no, listen. I think that sort of mindset within a squad takes time to set in. You know what I mean? Like at first, yeah, you're gonna be good.
You look at.
You can walk into a classroom. You don't start taking the piss out of the teacher straight away. But when you're a kid, you look for weak teachers, don't you? You know what I mean? You go to school and you think, what can I get away with these kids? You know what I mean? You spend about.
Amafutano turned up late twice.
You look at
decided he was
but you look at Frank Lampard, what he done at Chelsea. The first day he went in, he put a set of rules up on the wall, fines, and they weren't like £5 fines like you do at Thames Ironworks.
They were proper fines.
They were like 10 grand if you're late for a meeting. But that's
he's got people
Lampard. The thing is with someone like Lampard, they're fresh from playing, so they know, and he's doing that at the club.
I do wonder if reputation comes into it, because if someone like Bilic or Moyes, who's never really won anything, goes, right, I'm putting down the law, players go, who actually are you? What have you done in football? But when someone like Mourinho, Lampard, even as a player, puts something over
I don't know. I think every player sort of respects their manager, don't they? You have to respect your manager. If you don't, you don't play. Yeah, there's probably people the players have probably got a little group chat that probably go, fucking David Moyes, what the fuck is about?
I think like we said with Moyes, when he comes in, he's a no nonsense type of guy, and he ain't going to take any crap.
Old school British, isn't he? Old school British manager.
I was sitting there when we were walking back, and me and Dan were chatting about, like, when you look at like Leicester and Wolves and progress and things like that. And I just feel that we are a club that needs an old school type manager. You know, as much as I hate old school,
I just think we need.
I think out of the choices we had, David Moyes was the best.
You know what the thing is, right? Sorry, Dan.
And he's only lost 1 in 4.
Well done, Scott. Good stat.
From top to bottom, need a rejig, and that is an owner that can see the potential that is there, because everyone can see the potential. You know.
I mean, can I just say something? We're sitting here moaning about it. There must be other fans from other football clubs that lower league that look, they think themselves like,
fucking moaning.
What are you moaning at? You've got a 60,000 seater stadium. You're in the Premier League, you know, and. But I used to think that about Man United. I used to think, why the fuck are they moaning about the owners and that? And it's not until it happens to your club, same as Newcastle, that you realise what.
I guarantee you, there's a Bury fan out here watching this now, thinking, "Oh, I wish I had a football club to support."
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
I think if you're a Championship club or League One, some of them probably. You know, and some of them ones, especially the ones that have visited this ground, probably understand. They probably understand what you're and going, you know what, the match day in Old White is just not right. But
today, I thought, I done an interview after the game, and you know, for me, it felt like an end of season game today. Both sets of fans, they weren't singing, we weren't really singing, the atmosphere was poor. It needs a lift, this club, and I think the only lift the fans want now is obviously change of ownership, and whether that's going to happen, I don't know.
And the thing is that will that give us a lift? You know, because you don't know who you're going to get.
Magnuson.
It's mad. I just don't think they know what they're doing. We talked about the scouting. He uses agents. What he does, he gets some people like Willie McKay and goes, listen.
Fuck that, mate. They used to play, weren't they? Weren't in the governor in Norwich.
No, he's Big Sam's agent. Big Sam's agent.
Yeah.
But he's also an agent. What he does is he goes, how many good players? Really good players in the network. We want right back. And he'll go, I'll go, yeah. I know. And he'll just go and get someone to go right back to another agent.
Every signing is a gamble. Every sample is every signing is a gamble. They either turn it. I mean, when we signed Pint, no one knew who the fuck he was. And look how he left us.
Look at his stats before we signed it.
Yeah, but you didn't know him.
No, but I know. Listen, it's not my job to know.
No, but I know that. But you didn't know Pint. So that's what I'm saying.
It's a scout, and that's
why you have a scout.
He was in the top 5 in the whole of Europe for assists.
Yeah. In the French league.
No.
Coming to the Premier League. But in Europe. But coming to the Premier League is totally different. How many players have come abroad and fell?
That's what you have a scout for. You have a scout to go to the manager and go, Listen,
Yeah, but
there's
no,
this
what I'm
country
saying
playing
is,
in
me and
France.
you could go and sit in France and go, oh, fuck me, that Payet is the bollocks.
And he's
comes over here, he's shit, and then people are criticising us on
I
Payet.
know, but sometimes you can look at their physicality or their capabilities and think that player is good. So even Haller, like, I know that obviously Haller's got criticism, but you look at him and you think he'd be suited to Premier League. I think he's suited to the Premier League.
If the team
Look,
is going to sit,
there's been Premier League legends, Thierry Henry, that have come over here and they struggled at the beginning and they end up. It takes time for
Look at
players.
Fornals, look how he's
Listen, from the start, Fornals I thought was going to turn out good. I think he's going to turn out to be better than Lanzini, in my opinion. I like him, and he's got that bit of physicality about him as well.
Yeah, and he's learned that physicality.
Yeah, because he's adapted to the English way. The English, I say the English way, the Premier League.
Eating breakfast.
Yeah, fry ups and fucking. He's got a little beer gut. And he's got a tattoo of a bulldog.
He's drinking Carling.
our scouting network at the moment might as well be.
Oh, you shout about our fucking.
No, I'm just saying,
network.
Dan might as well just play Championship Manager for a season. Whoever improves
That's
over
what
the
I'm
season,
saying.
goes to
That's what we
David
used to do.
Sullivan.
It was Jack
Sign him.
Sullivan.
I reckon that. Listen, I don't think that might be far off. What we're doing at the moment.
Yeah,
Jack
that's
Sullivan was playing Championship Manager, and he going,
All I can say is
Anyway,
don't sign
this
Snodgrass.
club is a lot like Dream Team.
sum up the game. What, the Harchester United? Fucking hell, that
I
was a
think it was a game
programme.
we needed to win.
Well, the thing is,
I've
if
seen
you,
enough in it.
yeah, and one thing I will say as well, if you don't win the game, don't lose it. So a point is a great result. Sort of went our way today. It's still tight down there. Only, you know, if we lose on Wednesday we're playing against Leicester, anyway. Lose Wednesday, we could be in the bottom three. It's so tight down there.
I've seen us play a lot better against Everton.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to say this now. I can see us getting a result at Leicester on Wednesday.
Don't say that, right?
No, but when I say result, I mean even a point is a
No, but
result.
a point is a result.
That's what I'm saying.
I said to him earlier, we're going to beat Liverpool.
Scott, I've never seen you say us lose on a fucking. Every preview he's done. If he had done one of his previews, we'd have been fucking won the Champions League 4 years in a row. No, but yeah. Go on.
Right, should we finish up?
Yeah.
Thank you so much to Striking Bubbles. It's going to be our new home from now on.
We'll be with salmon and beers,
Yeah, Jesus.
peanuts,
Our,
and look how happy he is.
Unbelievable.
What's all them scratch marks on your arm?
Where?
On the other side?
that's-
On the inside of your arm?
What?
What's going on there?
Combat sports.
Combat sports.
Thank you so much for Smoking Bubbles. As I said, you can go on their website and get a membership to this wonderful bar. And we'll be in there every
Match
home
day.
day. Every home match day.
It's open. Night games.
Oh yeah, it might be a bit dodgy, but actually, I can do that.
Have a peanut.
Don't piss off.
We'll be here.
It's a
So you can come and watch us do post-match fight if you want, and we've
But to watch us, you have to buy a membership.
to watch you get my membership. Absolutely. Thank you so much to them for hosting today. Thank you so much for everyone to watching. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all of that stuff. Link in the description down below for the t-shirts and merch. We've still got some new stuff coming
Oh
out.
no, we don't sell Levi's. Sorry.
Yeah, I do.
Sorry,
You
mate.
hit the side down, ain't not wearing
Yeah,
a
yeah,
hoodie.
Where's your uniform?
You're not
man?
corporate.
Uniform. This is my uniform.
Yeah, you can go buy a t-shirt for that.
To be fair,
The
but I
link is
think
in
they're
the
all
description
scrolled
down below. Anything else? Subscribe to the podcast.
Yes.
Subscribe to the podcast on Podbean. Down to all the
Get invited on this
fans.
podcast one day.
Hopefully I have my cousin on
Let
there.
me finish. I want to go home.
Come on, mate.
Oh, someone's had a beer. A bit of salmon.
Half a pint more, mate.
Have a peanut.
I've been eating them all day. All the way through the
I'll
ring.
fire.
You see me.
I'll fire.
Yeah, subscribe to us on Podbean and all that. We've got a new Twitter handle as well. We'll leave that in the description.
Got their own Twitter.
iTunes,
Don't worry, Scott. Me and you do
Go
say.
and check out the fantastic we've just done.
Come and see
We'll be
Scott and
doing
Ryan
that
live.
towards, Leicester very quickly. Yeah, me and Dan will be there.
Fuck
So
me.
come and see us at the back end. And then Georgia FA Cup. And
West
return
Brom.
to Stamford Village.
Yeah.
Next Saturday to go. Check out all of that stuff. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave a like button. It helps us out greatly. And one thing left to say, boys. Come on, guys.